Hey guys, my name is Jack Wells, and today I'd like to take some time and talk to you about the awesome world of guitar. Guitar originated in Spain during the 16th century, and since then it has become more and more popular. There's two main types of guitars, which are acoustic guitars and electric guitars. Acoustic guitars have been around for their guitar's entire existence, but electric guitars, which are my personal favorite, have only been around for about 85 years. The first electrically amplified guitars were called hollow body guitars. They're like the guitars that you see in some pictures or movies from the 1930s or 40s, and this is what they look like. It was not until 1941 when inventor Les Paul made the first solid body guitar called the Les Paul. In 1950, Leo Fender started making solid body guitars too. His were under the name Fender. His guitars looked like this, and they usually went under the name Stratocaster or Telecaster. My two favorite bands are Guns N' Roses and My Chemical Romance. Both of these bands have my two favorite guitarists, and their names are Slash and Ray Toro. These two guitarists are the guitarists that have most influenced my guitar playing style. There have been many guitarists over the years that have either invented or perfected guitar playing techniques. Eddie Van Halen, for example, is a guitarist who did not invent his signature technique, but he perfected it and it made him well known. His technique was called tapping. My favorite guitar model is the Les Paul guitar model, because it's the guitar that's most used by my two favorite guitar players, Slash and Ray Toro. There is a seemingly infinite number of guitar playing techniques out there, and the most prominent technique would be in the rock or metal genres, just because those are the most well known when it comes to guitar playing. The style that I play the most would probably be defined as rock or alternative rock. Now, I'm going to teach you some basic guitar techniques so that you know what me and other guitar players do for hours on end. If you ask any guitar player what the most important guitar chords are, these are the three that they will most likely say: G, C, and D. These guitar chords are important because they're building blocks when it comes to learning guitar, because these guitar chords can be interchanged with each other or maybe some other chords to fit any song ever written. To make this whole video more interesting, later on in the video I'll be writing a song with those root chords and soloing over it to make this more interesting, and it's also a good way to give you an idea of what I do and how these three chords can be mixed around and played in different variations to make a cool song. The main variation to most chords is called a minor chord. For example, this is a normal D chord. Then this is a D minor. It's a subtle change, but they give a very different tone. If you're just playing a D chord, that sounds much more happy. And then if you play a minor chord, that sounds a lot more sad or somber, which is perfect for songs with a sad or somber tone. The C chord is also versatile because that chord can be switched between 3 to 4 other chords. So, for example, this is a normal C chord. You can also take that shape and go to an F chord. Then you can also take that shape from there and go to an A minor. Then sometimes, depending on the key of the song, you can go to an E chord. Now that we've covered the basics of guitar, I can now go over the most fun part of guitar playing, which is called guitar soloing. Soloing came about in the 1950s, and that's when it really became more common because that's when rock music started to become more popular. Soloing is the best part about guitar playing because it gives the guitar player a unique voice when he's playing in a music group, because it's such a different tone, and it finally gives the guitar player a chance to use his voice without the limitation of language or words. There are two main types of guitar solos: written and improvised. There's pros and cons to both because they both offer different things when it comes to music. The pro to writing a solo is that before you go on stage, you know what you're going to be playing, and that takes a lot of stress off of you. The con is that often you overthink it and then you mess up anyways. The pro to an improvised solo is that you don't have to practice it really, and you can play a much more sincere, in the moment kind of solo. The con is that you have to have at least some experience, or else you're going to play out of key and it's going to sound bad. What I'm about to show you is an example of a partially written, partially improvised solo. Thank you guys for joining with me.